Okay, what's up, everybody? I am live. We are about to do the Team Talk Tuesdays, and I'm so excited. I apologize for being about 2 seconds late, but technology, right? I was going to do my whole streaming thing, and then it looked like I couldn't hear through my streaming service. So then I had to shut that down and rely on my webcam, which at first I didn't want to do. But it's okay. It's all a learning process. The kids are going to start to make their way through. And if you've been to any of my live streams in the past, you know they're going to talk and do their things, their thing. This is going to be special. So any of you all that are new or that are visiting us, welcome. This is a live stream regarding race, riots, and resistance. So we want to hear from you young people, what you have to say, what you're feeling right now, all of those good things. So yeah, just let's do this. So I'm going to repost this link because apparently people are having a hard time finding this link. Sorry. People are having a hard time finding it, and it's all good. We are going to do the thing. What I would suggest that you do too is that if you're here, if you know you want to continue to participate in things like this, go ahead on and tap that subscribe button. Tap it, and that will let you know every time I'm live. And then when we want to go live with the teens, if you guys want to talk, then you don't have to work so hard to try to find my page. And then I don't have to, go all over the world and back to find links and post links and whatnot. So yes, welcome. Hopefully you guys are getting yourselves all in here. And we are getting ourselves ready to start this discussion. So my kiddos, hey. I'm going to put the number in here so you guys can call. I was afraid. My grandmother used to tell me something that I value so much. And she says, all things are divine. All things happen the way they're supposed to. Because it was going to be a thing where you couldn't see me. I was just going to go, it was just going to be black. But I guess, maybe you needed to see my face so you would show up. Hi, y'all. Oh my gosh, my kiddos are here. Hey, y'all. I'm so excited to see you. Let me go ahead on and drop this number in here too so that we can get this conversation started. Again, this is going to be on the recent happenings in the U.S. with race, riots, and resistance. I just want to check in, see how you guys are doing, see if you want to get anything off your chest. Sorry. See if you have any questions. See if there's things that we need to discuss or that you just want to discuss with each other. Of course, first and foremost, I just want you the time to get the things that you want to say off of your chest. So I'm going to start out by listening, That's what I really want to do is hear from you. If you're upset, if you want to cry, if you want to smash some things, if you want to intellectualize some things, all of that is fine. Over the place, but it's all good in the hood. We are going to figure this out and figure out why it wants to run all over the place. Just do its own thing. How are y'all? Y'all been out of school a minute. I was going to say, how's summer break? But you've been on break. You've been breaking. You've been breaking. This is so exciting. I just want to keep doing this. Do y'all want to keep doing this? You want to keep going? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yes, let's go. And my phone lines are looking at me. All right. Oh, okay. Host. Let's do it. Okay. Y'all, when I say this has been a little wonky, wonk wonk. It's all good though. Yes, I keep saying this. Okay. I promise y'all this is not gonna be this wonky forever. Everybody. Do y'all have questions? Are you excited? Hey, Chris. Hey, Olivia. Hey, Amari. Hey, y'all. I'm so excited to talk to y'all. I really am. It's just been a little wonky, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Everything is happening for a reason. Okay, okay. Run. Y'all, if you only knew the foolishness that is happening right now. I mean, the absolute foolishness. Cancel. I don't even know what to say. Cancel. Why this is wait a minute. Yes, honey. See, wisdom. Log in. I promise you we're gonna get it together. Just hold tight with me. I promise you we're gonna get this together. Here we go. Here we go. This reminds me of verses. When people have all this technical difficulties and they get clowned. Okay, here we go. Host. I'm in. We ready to go. Let's do this. In the meantime, in between time, this is not like class, right? So there's nothing that you have to write down. But if you do have a question that you're not comfortable with, it's okay for you to post it in the chat over here. Well, I guess it'll be over here because it's opposite. And I will call out some things through my end for those of you that don't want to call in, or maybe you're a little bit nervous or whatever the case may be. It is all going to be good, right? You don't have to worry about it. I'm going to take care of you. But for those of you that don't mind speaking, I want you to definitely, yes, we are going to be talking on the phone. But of course, this is what's having the issue. Like it knew we were going to be talking. I guess the systems knew we were going to be talking and it wants to be a little wonky. And of course, that's okay. It's not okay, but it is okay. We gonna make it work. And you always have to have more than one way when you are doing things. So fear not, my darling. Fear not. Let me log in real quick to this one since the other one is not working. And then I promise you, we're going to get started. This is annoying me that I'm having some issues. I had the number ready for y'all and everything. Okay, so what is this? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Open. What are we doing? What are we really doing? So can I host now? Can I do my thing? Jeez Louise. Finally. I promise y'all, sometimes things be like, do it for the fun. I ain't gonna do it. All right, so I got our number.
And thank you for choosing freeconferencecall.com.
We ready to go.
People around the world communicate for free. Are the only participant in the conference.
Love it. Okay, so for the we ain't doing this We ain't doing this. Not today. As y'all know, as soon as you call in, this annoying music will go away. So what I'm about to do is put the phone number in the chat so that you guys have it. And once you dial that, I'm going to give you the pin. Then you can hop on the line and we can get started. We can boogie. Boom. That's the number. It's 701-802-5096. That's the phone number. And then I'm going to give you your pin, okay? Which is... Oh, that's not it. The pin is 728-314. And then once y'all hop on these lines, that music will go away. Zoom, I don't like because Zoom tapes everything. So to keep this as private as possible, to honor y'all's privacy, we won't use Zoom. And then Zoom wants to charge a whole big bunch of money if we go over a certain amount of time. So we won't use Zoom. But we got it. We in here. 701-802-5096. That's y'all's number. Once you call, I will see you. See, look.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, it's Huda.
Huda! How are you, Huda?
I'm good.
Are you really?
Frustrated, but good.
Yeah, you're frustrated. I can understand, and I can feel you. Let me make sure. Anybody else that wants to hop on, 701-802-5096. Once you hop on, you can just unmute yourself, and y'all can talk. Okay? So, Huda, so talk to us. How are you feeling? What's going on?
Okay. I definitely think that. Okay. Well, where do you want to start?
Where do you want to start? I just want to know how you're feeling. I'm gonna let you control the conversation. Let me just put this out here while y'all are getting on the phone lines. And since Huda has opened this up, for those of you that are in my class, you kind of know how we do this. We want to be respectful to each other. We want to respect people and opinions, right? And if we disagree with something, we disagree with the opinion. And we're going to do so in a way that's respectful, that will allow everyone to get out how they feel. And then if there are any questions that you guys have kind of toward the end after you guys get through talking, then of course, then I'll help you to sort through some answers of some questions that you may have if I am at a capacity to answer those questions. Remember, if you are responding to someone who is speaking, please summarize what they said first and then respond to it. So summarize and then respond, just to make sure that you know what they are saying, so that you're not just, quoting them out of context. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who says they can't call?
Yeah.
Chris is on here.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah. Hello.
Hey, Chris. How are you, love?
Okay.
I'm fine.
All right, so you guys can start talking. I think you guys are just telling me how you feel. Did you guys have a hard time getting on the phone line? Was it okay?
Huh?
Did you have a hard time getting on the phone line?
No, I just have
For
to
me?
put the number in.
The code?
That was fine.
Okay. Go ahead, guys.
Okay, well, I definitely feel like I hate America right now.
Mhm.
It's a lot going on, and I mean, like, I feel like I have the right to be mad because why are people caring more about the economy and their money and these businesses more than they care about our lives? They're not seeing the bigger picture of why we're fighting here, and they're trying to make us seem like they're trying to make us look violent when there's so, right now Twitter is my only form of news. Like, they hide so much stuff on the actual news. Like, they're actually trying to hide stuff. On the news they'll put videos of cops hugging the protesters, kneeling with the protesters. But what they don't put is 10 minutes after that, the police are throwing tear gas and they're shooting them. And those rubber bullets, they are shooting them with these rubber bullets, tear gas, mace, all of it. Like 10 minutes after those photos, and the news is refusing to share it.
Mhm.
And that's how I feel.
Thank you, Huda. Chris, you can jump in anytime.
Yeah, so I was definitely gonna agree with the part where they literally kneel down, and then a couple minutes later they get up, put their masks on, and then bombard the protesters with tear gas. I don't know how this is humane or anything. It's really messed up. And there was this video. There was this video where two. It said they were Trump supporters. They attacked a group of protesters, like verbally and physically attacking them, and then beating them to the ground. And it's not the only incident. It's been happening across America. It's been happening in Chicago as well, where innocent Black people have been targeted and beaten and stabbed, even shot. So, like, the people in like those neighborhoods, like I heard that the Latin Kings, it's like a gang. They were attacking innocent Black people, and they attacked a woman that was 9 months pregnant and beat her and stabbed her, and they burned her car. So that's messed up.
Yes, definitely. Another thing, they're giving out these curfew alerts. Like last night they gave out to Nashville 24 minutes after the time, because it was supposed to be at 10. The curfew was supposed to be at 10, but they gave out the alert at 10:24. So how's that? And then also in DC, I think it was, I don't remember exactly where it was, but so they gave them 15 minutes before the curfew. They said, you guys need to go home, and if you're out after curfew, you're subject to arrest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they wouldn't give them the option to leave. They blocked all the highways. They blocked everything. They basically put them into this corner, and they were macing them and tear gassing them, and they literally couldn't. Even if they wanted to leave, they didn't have the option.
So,
can I add something to that?
yes.
So yeah, there was also a video in Atlanta where there was this couple. They were driving home, and I think there were protests going on, and the cops pulled them over. They dragged the girl out of the car, arrested her, and beat the boyfriend to the ground, slashed their tires, and broke their windows. That's way too excessive. I don't understand why they would do that if that's making their job harder.
Mm-hmm.
And then they didn't even the protest. They were going home, and then they pulled them out of the car. And then it was on live. They caught it on live news. And the car in front of them, there was white people in there, and they didn't see what was going on behind them, but they saw the camera recording, and they were like waving and smiling. They didn't know what was happening behind them.
Mm.
And that's when everybody was going crazy. Like, you guys see how white privilege works? These people in front of them are just waving and smiling at the camera, and people behind them are getting detained and beat and tased.
So how does that make you feel, like, personally? Do you feel
angry and scared?
Really angry. Like, I would love to go out there and protest right now because this is injustice happening. And if we don't do anything and just sit around and do nothing, it's going to affect us in the future and now as well.
So do you feel like these things that are happening, does it make you feel unsafe?
Yes.
Definitely.
So this is really interesting because you are female, and although there are female victims,
and Black,
right,
and Muslim,
and Muslim, right?
Yeah.
That even though they're not talking about those types of individuals, or really a lot of women, you still feel the sense of unsafety. What I mean, have you all, and you specifically, Huda, as a female, have you had trouble sleeping? Like, what does this look like? Because it's been bombarded. And what does it look like for a young person who is just on social media that I'm sure is bombarded with watching this video over and over again?
Yes, definitely. So, actually, the other day, I don't want to say any names, but one of my friends, I don't think it's gonna be my friend after this, but I'm sure it's my friend. So this boy, he's white, okay? We were talking, and he was talking. I'm really vocal about this stuff, like on Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter and all that, you know. And he had slid up on one of my posts, and he was like, "What about all the businesses being burnt down? What about all this stuff?" And I was like, "Hey, like, you don't see the bigger picture. We're getting killed over this. You know what I mean? Like, a few businesses can be sacrificed. A business can be built back up. A life cannot be brought back." And he was being very ignorant about it, you know. And I was like, "Okay, well, He said, what is the outcome of all of this? Like, what are you guys gonna get from all of this?" I'm like, "Well, don't you know that America was built on like riots and revolution? Like, this is not the first time something like this happened and people got what they wanted, or well, it was. I mean, yeah, they got what they wanted usually." And he as he was like starting to understand everything, he was saying like, "Okay, well." He was like, "Okay, well, let's go to one of these riots." And I was like, "I'm not gonna go. I'm supporting from home. Like, you don't understand how big of a target I am. Like, I'm Muslim, I'm Black, and I'm a woman. Yeah. So this is like 3 targets on my chest." And he was like, "No, let's go. It's okay." And I was like, "No, you can go if you want. If you want, like, you can go and protest, and I'm not gonna say they won't kill you, but if I go and you go, I have more of a chance of being killed than you do." And he was like, "No, then I'm not gonna go if you're not going." And I was like, "So, what does this mean? Like, you're not going for the cause. You just want to go for fun if I'm going there?" And he was like, "Well, I don't really care." And then I was telling them about they don't believe that their privilege is real. I was telling him, I was like, "Yeah, but you don't understand. Like, if me and you are walking down the street, I have a bigger chance of getting killed than you do. If me and you walk into an interview, you have a bigger chance of getting that job." And then he was like, "No, I don't even have to. I don't even use it. We grew up in the same area." Like, he doesn't understand that this privilege, it happens and they don't even notice it. And that's what gets me mad.
Mm-hmm. So you feel like if you went to the protests, you feel like you would be physically harmed or killed?
I could be. It's a possibility, and I'm like so proud of these people that are going to this protest. They're being so selfless. Like they're so tired of it. They're willing to die about it. Like that's very selfless, you know. This, you know, some people can only take so much of something.
Mm-hmm.
So these people are ready and willing to die about this. And I can say I'm not ready to die about this. So that's why I support them completely. But I'm doing my part at home.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else want to jump in? Have you thought about going to the protests? Mm-hmm.
Wait, I couldn't hear you. What was that last part?
I said, have you thought about going to the protests? What kinds of conversations are you guys having with your families? What's that look like?
So I thought about going to the protest, but I can't. For one, my parents won't let me go. And but I really do want to go because it's just injustice going on, and I don't like just sitting there and seeing it happen. So I'd really like to do something, or even help people, especially like in the protests, people are getting beaten up, and they need help of others. They need support. So I'd love to help, but I can't. So I'm trying to do my part at home too.
Yeah. As for the family part that you said, I'm actually really proud of my parents. They see the side. We're all on the same side over here, and the only reason I said I was proud is because, like, this is the right thing. But I'm saying the only reason I was proud is because a lot of people in African countries, like especially Ethiopia, Somalia, all of them, they're saying like, why are you guys fighting with this? You know, in Minnesota, the population they have a really big Somali community.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They have a huge Somali community. And a lot of their parents and a lot of like older generations, they were saying like, why are you guys fighting with these people? We're not black, we're Somali or we're Ethiopian.
Oh my gosh.
They're saying we're black, we're Ethiopian, or we're Somali. And they're like, do they think like if they get pulled up by the police, they have a smaller chance of being killed than everyone else? Because here's my thing, like, you think they're gonna ask you? You're like, no, I'm from Somalia. What are they gonna say? Oh, I'm not gonna kill you because you're from Somalia. Mm-hmm. You are black. They don't care about where you're from. As long as you're black, you are a target, and that's what we're trying to help. That's what we're trying to fix here.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying that because of their immigration status, but wouldn't you think that being an immigrant would put an extra target on their back? And maybe that's why
exactly.
They are like, I want to stay back, and I don't want to be targeted even more because, you know, we've definitely had some tough immigration conversations this year and in the last couple years politically. So.
Mm-hmm. And also, I saw a video this morning, like when I woke up. Oh my God, I've been so scared every morning I wake up, and I'm like, I go on Twitter because literally Twitter is my only source of news right now.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you, every single thing that I've learned about these protests has come from Twitter because the news is not doing anything.
So talk about that. What's it like watching the news? And which news have you tried to watch?
It's terrible. Like the other day I was watching the day they started protesting in Nashville, we went to Kentucky. We were getting we were bored, and we just like, okay, let's go to we went to the Amish place in Kentucky. And so I had service, I just wasn't on my phone because I was with my family. It was disrespectful. It would have been disrespectful if I was on my phone. But I came home. You know, when we were going home, we passed by downtown, like not through downtown, but like on the highway. Mm-hmm. We passed downtown. I see like 500 blue lights, like cop cars. I see like 500. I was like, yo, what's going on? I look at my phone. I have this group chat with my friends. I had like 600 messages. They're talking about how the courthouse is on fire and they're breaking windows and all of this stuff. And I'm over here, yo, what did I like? How it was just crazy. I was like, how did this even happen? Because you know Tyler, right? The girl that goes to Antioch.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was at the protest before it got violent. Because their protest was like from 2 to 4 or something. And she was at that protest. And it wasn't violent when she was there. They were just marching. And later on, after that protest, that's when they started to get more violent. And plus, it was a white man that broke the windows and started the fires at the courthouse.
Can I ask you something? Was the protest hosted by the Tennessee Activist Coalition or by Black Lives Matter movement?
So from my understanding, there were a couple of different groups that worked together and put that particular march together. So I think it was a combination of the two.
I've seen some posts on the group that named themselves the Tennessee Activist Coalition. They're supposedly the ones that are breaking the windows and starting the riots. Because I'm guessing people have seen them, a part of their group, breaking windows and actually starting these fires. There's also been information that they don't actually care about the essence of the protest itself. They're only here to start anarchy.
Yeah.
So this is disrespectful, first of all, and second of all, it's just making the problem worse. And especially the blame of all of this will most likely be directed to Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
They're peaceful.
Yeah, this problem they're making us look bad with all this stuff that they're doing. But yeah, I forgot to say about the video, guys. So it killed me how much privilege that white people they don't understand, because I was watching the video, and so these people were marching, cops pulled up, and they literally, the first person that they saw, they just grabbed and tried to arrest. This white man ran up and he said, "Hey, leave him alone. You're escalating the situation. Let's go, just leave."
Yeah.
And guess what? The officers left. They just left.
The officers left?
And this white man ran up to them saying, "Leave that man alone. Don't talk to him. Don't put him in cuffs. Don't take him to jail. Just leave him alone." And they left him alone. They went away.
Wow.
But God forbid a black man walked up to that cop and tried to take that man away from him. He would have been shot, killed within 0.2 seconds.
Seriously, that reminds me of that video that I just saw of this group of protesters peacefully protesting in front of the cops, right? And out of the blue, they come forward and literally take most of the black people and apprehend them. Everybody else is left alone except them. They've been targeted. They were sitting down and protesting, doing nothing violent, and they were apprehended. It doesn't make any sense.
So
yeah.
Go
Go ahead.
So is this watching these kinds of videos and things like that, is this all that's on your timeline, and is that giving you anxiety?
I don't think it's giving me anxiety, because I feel like people need to know about this stuff. They can't just turn a blind eye to it. Especially me. I know people are hating me on Twitter right now because I am reposting, I'm retweeting, and liking every single thing that has to do with anything black right now. They're probably like, why is she doing all of this? I genuinely do not care. There's a huge problem right now. We're going to war, honestly. We're going to war about this.
So, if someone were to ask you, what do you want? What would you say?
Out of the protest?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well.
You go ahead. Yeah, start. You can start if you want to.
Definitely, we need a higher type of education required to become an officer.
Mm-hmm.
Longer training in the police academy, because right now it's not cutting it. Definitely a new president.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, a whole new government.
Mm-hmm.
Just everything. And these, mostly the main thing we're fighting for is for all these cops that have done crimes, that have killed people for no reason, to be charged truthfully, like what the crime they actually did.
So, do you think that getting a new president will change these circumstances?
No, definitely not.
No.
Definitely not. But I just think this president is definitely not helping anything.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, he's making the situation worse.
Mm-hmm.
And
Worse?
definitely.
My bad.
Huh?
My bad.
No, go ahead.
Zakaria, are
we're
you
talking
here?
about.
Okay. Let me know. Can y'all hear Zakaria?
Barely.
Okay. Y'all keep talking. I'm going to try to figure out if I can get Zakaria on the line, okay? Keep going.
Okay.
All right.
Hey,
So-
Zakaria.
We're talking about a president who literally
Hold
made
on.
fun of Eric Gardner, who was a victim of police brutality and died. Similar to George Floyd, he was asphyxiated. He even said he can't breathe either, and he made fun of that. There's even an interview, when he was at a rally, he literally made fun. He was like, "Oh, I can't breathe. I can't breathe." That's what he literally said. He was imitating
Yeah, I
him.
saw that video.
That, and then instead of helping the American people like he says he would, like the amount of respect he apparently has for the American people, instead of helping us, the American people, he decides to hide into his bunker and try to just ride it out until we stop protesting, which is not going to be the case.
Do you think
Mm-hmm.
that any other president would have went in their bunker?
I'm not sure. I can't say that for sure.
Can I be honest? Obama wasn't the best president either. He definitely was a war criminal. People are on Twitter saying like, "Oh, I wish Obama was here." The same thing was happening when he was president. So I'm saying president, like, I said that we should change president, but honestly, it's more of the police academy. It only takes 20-something weeks to become an officer. So they don't have any training. And a lot of officers are only officers because their grandparent was, or their dad was, or their mom was. And there's just like a long line of racism. They were taught racism, and they're going to the police academy and do the same thing that their mom or dad or grandma or grandpa did. And it's not safe for us.
Do you think it's just the police academy? Like, is this where the problems are stemming from? Just the police?
I'd say it's also the government. Not only the president, but also the House of Representatives, the Senate. They're just, not all of them are supporting us. I mean, we elect these people to represent our states, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of them are literally doing nothing right now. So we need to get those people out of office and get people into office that will actually care about our problems, like right now, and bring light to these problems.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question. When you call in, does it ask for a meeting ID? Because I'm still trying to get one of my kiddos in.
Yeah,
it's the number.
But it's just the number? Okay. I'm still trying to
the
get
number and then the hashtag.
Yeah.
Okay, so Zakaria, see if you can hit the hashtag. Okay, so my question is, and the reason why I'm asking you guys this, and could you put into words what you want? The reason being is because it's easy to look at this incident and maybe the other incidents that have happened the last couple years in isolation. And so that's why I say, is it just the president? Is it just the police force? Or are we dealing with something a little bit more in depth? What do you think? And then I want to know what it is that you guys think that you can do as young people to eradicate these situations, these murders from happening again.
I definitely think I'm doing all that I can as a person from my age, and I've been very vocal about this. I've even stopped talking to a lot of people. I've signed every petition that I came across myself, because I didn't have this conversation with some of my friends before we became friends.
Mm. So you're losing friends in the middle of a quarantine when you can't see.
I'm not losing no friends. They're losing me.
I love y'all.
I don't care.
They're losing you.
Hey, that's the truth though. Seriously.
But is it difficult to have to go through a situation where you're frustrated with someone who was your friend that you can't really see because we've been in quarantine? So the minute we get to a point
it's really hard having these conversations over text and stuff like that.
Yeah. Where you can't talk to them and see it. And is their intention to be hurtful, or does this come from somewhere else? So what you're saying is, like, even if we got a new police force, and even if we got a new president, the things that are causing these situations to go awry like this are much larger than just the police force or just the president. So we would have to step back, right?
Yes, this is much larger than that, but we should start with baby steps, and those baby steps are changing the police force and the president and the government. And obviously there's a lot. We can never stop white privilege or any of that, but...
Or can we?
This is definitely...
Do you think we can?
I don't think it's possible, genuinely. Like, I'm just talking, like, straight, like, what I think is possible and what I think is, like, a stretch or a reach. I think getting rid of white privilege is definitely a reach.
I mean, these people, these extremists that are hurting us and beating us, don't want us to become a majority in quote unquote their country.
Mm-hmm.
They're paranoid that they think we're gonna take over, get our revenge.
Oh my God! I was watching an interview about that. There was 2 black men and a white man. It was like a interview, like an actual interview. Everybody was sitting down on the sofa, like it was like organized. It wasn't like a protest or nothing. It was just a regular interview. So this white man, he's sitting here telling these black men, "You guys need to just live with it. You guys will never be wanted in this American country. For white privilege is always going to be a thing, and as it should be." He was telling them, white privilege it has to be, because you guys need to know your place in America, and if you guys don't like it, leave.
Like, how about you leave? Not even from here either.
You know, another thing you were talking about, Ms. Goodman, was intentions. So with my friend, her intentions, she did a process. She was like, because the argument started because we're talking about the Black Lives Matter movement in general, and then she brings up, she brings up, she's Hispanic, she's Mexican. She was saying, but my family goes through struggles like this too. I understand that. All people of color go through struggles. Of course, they always have been. But if we're talking about Black Lives Matter right now, you should be protesting with us and fighting with us because you know how it feels, right? You know how it feels to be discriminated against or killed by the police and all that stuff. But the fact that she was like saying, well, but my family goes through the same thing. Why can't it be all lives matter? Like,
well, I'm about to say something about this. Oh my God.
And I was saying like, well, she didn't say explicitly all lives matter, but she was saying like, but my family goes through stuff like this too. And I was like, you don't see it, but that's an all lives matter statement. And she was like, no, that's not my intention. Like if I hurted you or something like that, I didn't mean to say that. But she proceeds to say that. She says, but my family means the world to me. I'm worried about them and all that. And she came up with a lie. And she was saying, my cousin and his daughter, they were driving down the street at their house and people were throwing stuff at their car. She was lying because he lives over here in Antioch. And they weren't protesting anywhere except for downtown. So she's trying to gaslight us to make us feel bad about who's calling. What?
I'm calling Zakaria.
Okay, well, she was trying to make us feel bad by bringing her family into it. And so me and my other friend, we were like, hey, why'd you have to bring your family into this? You know, that you're just trying to make us feel bad for what we're saying. And she was like, no. And she couldn't see that what she was saying was like an all lives matter statement. And she said, I told her, I was like, hey, why? And as soon as I brought in my family, I was like, but my family, I mean my Black family, if they walk down the street, they could be killed. If they go to these protests, they could be killed. If they just driving down the street, they could be killed. And she had the audacity to bring up a whole different subject. Like talk about something completely different.
And that just made you feel...
You're like, so...
Yeah.
That's just like... You see how uncomfortable people get when people start bringing up Black lives and Black families?
Hello?
So they have to change the subject.
Can y'all hear Zakaria?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, Zakaria, you can talk, but you have to turn down YouTube.
Yeah, I was gonna apologize. I'm gonna be talking, but I won't play music.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and so I was telling her, why'd you change the subject? Like, you see how uncomfortable it makes people when, you see how uncomfortable it makes people when people start talking about Black families and how they're just getting killed for no reason. And then she was like, I'm just trying to get past this, and then she said, you're getting too emotionally attached to this.
Oh, wow.
What do you mean?
What? Wait a minute. Hold on.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean? Of course I'm getting emotionally attached to this. There's people getting killed for no reason.
She doesn't know you're Black, right?
Yes, she knows I'm Black.
I'm sorry, I just had to say that. Wait a minute.
I just find it real how this situation is bringing out people's true colors.
Yes, I love that this is happening now because I was in shock when she said that. Like, I actually was genuinely in shock when she said that. And I was like, wow, you really just said that to me, didn't you? And she was like, yes, you're getting too emotionally attached to this.
So I'm going to just let you guys know if you hear some music or something like that. Can y'all hear me? If you hear some music or something, I'm in a studio, so just keep talking. It's all good.
Okay. But yes, I stopped talking to her. And then my friend, you guys know Mina, right? You know Raja?
Yeah. Well, I think.
Yeah. So Amina, she was telling Mariani, or she was telling the girl that was like, she was telling the girl that said that, she was like, why did you have to say that? And why when Huda and the other girl that was in the group chat, she was saying, why when they bring up their families, you have to change the subject, and you can talk about your family all day, but as soon as they bring up their family, it makes you uncomfortable. Do you not see the problem here? And she just hasn't responded to us since. And I'm okay with that. Like I am happy that this happened. That way I know who to be with and who not to be with. Because if you don't stand for something I'm so passionate about, we cannot be friends.
Yeah. So, do you guys have questions?
Like, I guess there's how people we're gonna like recover from this, because like with this, people are gonna be scared to even walk out of the house, or like when they see police, some people might have like a mental breakdown of, are they safe, or
Yes, and I hate that for future generations, because can you remember, like, one of the first things they teach you in school? It's, if you're in trouble, call 911. Isn't it?
Yeah, it's all
like one of the first
all
things
nine.
they teach you in school.
No.
Yeah, it's like one of the first things they teach you in school. But you have to go and tell your kids, sometimes cops are not good. They could hurt you for no reason, or they could see you as the suspect or whatever. And that's so sad, because who are you supposed to call when you're in trouble? These kids are so scared because these people are getting pushed for no reason, people that look like them.
Can I ask something about the All Lives Matter subject?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw this post. It compares All Lives Matter to All Houses Matter, where a person basically acknowledges the problems of like, say, like a house is burning, and you're the neighbor and you see somebody's house burning, but you say, "Oh, all houses matter, so I'm gonna just matter my house,"
Right.
and ignore the other people's problems. That's the same as saying all lives matter, because Black Lives Matter is not saying only Black Lives Matter. It's saying that Black Lives Matter as much as any other life, any other American life.
Yeah.
So,
or that lives can't matter until ours do.
Right.
And another thing I saw on Snapchat that I thought was crazy, there was this. I genuinely think she was a child. I have a few people on my Snapchat that I don't know, like, personally. I think she was like a child, like maybe an 8th grader or like 9th, like 7th. I don't know where she. I don't even know her. But she posted this quote, and it was like, hold on, let me read it for you guys. I thought it was crazy. Hold on. Of course, I told her she was wrong when she said it. But okay, she said, the quote says, "If all lives matter, how come no one rioted for us when ICE got our people in cages?" She just said it.
wait, I'm sorry, I did not hear that. What did she say?
The quote was, "If all lives matter, how come no one rioted for us when ICE got our people in cages?" There are so many things wrong with that.
Didn't people actually riot? Didn't they protest about
We
that?
were rioting. We were rioting for them. Well, we were
Wait a
protesting.
minute.
We were rioting. We were rioting for them. And people on Twitter were going crazy, signing petitions, sharing all this stuff, all the information. They even put the number out so people can call and make sure that these people are good. And I told her, I said, "Why did you post this? I'm completely sympathetic towards that situation and did my part in signing petitions and sharing on Twitter. Majority of Black people were the ones retweeting, signing, and sharing. Also, another point I brought up was that for this cause, after this George Floyd thing happened, we Black people started these riots or these protests ourselves. No one else started it for us. So why would we have to fight? I told her, why would we have to fight your battles if you're not fighting with us? How come you guys didn't riot yourself? Why do we have to riot for you guys?
So
if you're not going to help us, why would we help you? Basically,
I want to, if you guys don't mind, hop in here and give you some things to help you out. There was a video that I saw, and I posted it on my Instagram, that literally brought me to tears. And it was a man who was 31, and he was arguing with someone.
Oh, 3 generations! I saw that video.
3 generations. I love that, because you guys, when you come into my presence as a teacher, you bring those generations, and then I'm a generation that brings a perspective to this as well. What he said was very poignant, because this isn't new, and that it is likely that it will continue. Here's what you want to do in a situation like this when it occurs. Number one, you want to protect yourself. If your higher self tells you don't go to a protest, don't go to a protest. If it tells you to not go to the protest alone, don't go to the protest alone. If it tells you to sit down and do the work from home, sit down and do the work from home. And sometimes if you feel yourself getting overwhelmed, you have to shut the computer, get off of social media, and give yourself a break. Because here's something that you all may not understand, but I'm going to hip you to a little bit of game. Number one, playing that video of our brother Floyd being murdered in that way over and over and over is disrespectful. We all saw it. We don't need to keep watching it. You're playing it over and over again for his family, for those of his friends and his loved ones that are left behind. Every time we share that, they have to do it and see it and feel it and go through it over and over again. Not to mention that you all are going through it over and over again, and there's a desensitization process that is happening. So we don't want to normalize murder with desensitization by the continuance of posting it over and over again. If you
but I think that people need to see it, because they're so used to just brushing it under the rug, and I think they're so used to brushing it under the rug and these cops being released.
But I want you to hear what you're saying. You have watched a human being be killed. So the issue is 2 things. Either you're used to watching murders, or it doesn't matter because of who the person looks like. And sharing that and you ingesting that over and over again, it's just not good for you in the long run. The truth of the matter is, when I saw it and realized what it was, I didn't watch it. Okay? What I want you to do is internalize life. I do not want you to internalize fear in any of the ways that you have to walk outside your house and live. All right? Number 2, when you're talking about anything of this magnitude with anyone else, understand that this is an age-old debate. It has been since our inception here in these United States. And
yes, if people are not aware of the fact that stuff like this is happening, then they're just blatantly ignorant. There's so many resources now that they can go and Google what this is, or they can do the. So if they're not understanding you after you tell them, then they're being ignorant, straight up to that.
Yes, yes and no. So two things, right? Two things. When I may have to move y'all, but when you okay, hold on one second. I'm just gonna move. If it gets distracting, let me know. I'll move. But two things. When you sorry, y'all. So two things. There has been a study shown that you guys, as your age group, don't know the difference between fact and fiction. And you don't know that when you're watching something, you're ingesting biases, you're ingesting things that are biased that will turn into untruths. So it will lead you to believe or think of a thing about a thing that's not true because you don't have the skills to decipher it yet. That's not your fault. It takes a really seasoned person to be able to look at something and look and see what is underneath it that is hurtful, that is biased, and that is causing people to look and say, well, what happened before the camera started rolling? Well, what did they do? Well, why are they? And these types of biases are so delicately placed that you may not understand them when you first encounter them. Now, as persons of color, we get it because it's our life, right? We've had to deal with it our entire life. But I think that one of the ways that you guys can assist this, especially as you become older, as you continue on your journey, is that you can make sure you have some awesome rhetoric skills. We will need you to become reporters. We will need you to be writers. We will need you to be politicians. We will need you to be attorneys.
Yes, I'm glad that it's terrible, but I'm kind of glad that we are seeing this because then when we get older, we can start doing better than what they're doing now.
Yes.
Since we are the future.
Yes. And it's gonna make you stay on your game. You're gonna do everything with more purpose. How do I know this? I was there when I was a little kid. I saw the Rodney King riots and so on and so forth like that. So I'm with you. This isn't new for me either. We have been doing this for a very, very, very long time. But I promise you, even though you are feeling that sense of urgency, that sense of I'm scared, I can't go outside, I want you to calm that kind of self-talk down and understand that you have a purpose and there is a reason why you are alive at this time and how exciting it is. 2020 has hit us with things that we couldn't imagine, and it's still just June. We just got to the 6-month mark. We had a war at the beginning of the year. Remember that?
I did not believe that.
Right?
I told everyone nothing is going to happen, and we're not there. So.
We thought we were going into World War III when the year first started. We went from World War III.
They're thinking of the world. We're not having a world war,
but we are.
We are. Other countries protesting for us too.
Absolutely. So we had World War.
How do you feel about these riots?
Huh?
How do you feel about these riots?
There will always be people that riot. I'm going to say that again. There will always be people that are rioting, and they are always correct in doing that. Nothing ever got done without riots. But what I want you young people to understand.
They love quoting MLK, and they love saying MLK protested peacefully. But right when he died, they rioted.
Well, they were rioting while he was protesting. People just don't talk about it like that.
Yeah, it's nothing new. I saw this tweet the other day. Hold on, I'll read it to you. They love quoting MLK, and they twist it when they quote him. Hold on, let me find it. He said, this is my tweet. He said, I could be like, change is not radical unless I am comfortable. Martin Luther King.
But what you all have,
everything that he's just.
I love that you asked that question, because what you all get to understand is that very few people are good stewards and students of history. So while Martin Luther King had a reason why he was marching peacefully. When people say that his marches were peaceful, they were anything but peaceful. Understand that. He just wasn't hitting them back. But his marches were never peaceful. Go back when I showed you all Selma. They called that Bloody Sunday for a reason. It wasn't peaceful at all. The people that were
they were on Twitter using pictures from Bloody Sunday, and they were like, "See, when MLK was protesting, it was peaceful. They don't know the history behind that photo. How many people died after that photo was taken?"
And I need you remember when we were having class a few weeks ago, and I was teaching you all about semantics, right? And that real slim line of how they use particular words. The marches were not peaceful. The Black people they were just exhibiting resistance in such a way where they weren't hitting their oppressor or their opposition back. They were not peaceful. The lunch counters were not peaceful. Had they been peaceful, then everyone would have been, oh my gosh, we can let you sit here at these lunch counters. Why didn't we think of that? And it just would have been over. But the people at the lunch counters and all of that had to go through training in order to understand how to restrain themselves when a cold milkshake gets dropped on your hair. And knowing the African American hair and the carrot is such a different process. You can't just wash it out and go the next day. Like, there's a whole nother process that has to be done if somebody squirts, ketchup or mustard in your hair. There's a holistically different thing. They had to learn how to do that. It was a process, and the process had a purpose. The rioting has a process, and the process has a purpose. So the end of the rioting's in the Revolutionary War, when we were becoming the United States of America, we were like, man, bump this T-tax. The purpose of that riot had a process, and then at the end, you got what you wanted, right? So with you all, it is understand. You must understand your process and your purpose. So when people say Black Lives Matter, it's more than that. No, we need the unalienable right of the pursuit of happiness. We want to live, and to live without that paranoia of people doing things to us, saying things to us, harming our bodies, and trying to take away your life. That also gives you all purpose in the things that you do. Does that make sense? So you have to become good stewards of history, of understanding how to use your words and how to use your actions to be in defiance of anyone who tries to take your life and your liberty away. And you can be one of the rioters, or you can be one of the ones that are doing this in 100 other different ways. We need people that code. We need people in computer science. We need more doctors. We need more nurses. We need more people in the military. I know people mess with my profession like I would never do it. We need more teachers. We need more lawyers. We need more people in every instance of every situation to make sure that everyone gets a seat at the table and that these types of situations don't happen. Because what people don't realize is when George Floyd was murdered, we were looking at a form of this. It is also a form of this happening in politics, in education, in medicine, and it just goes on and on and on. So we need for you all to be well informed, right? And to move through these processes so that you show up for everyone all of the time. That's what I want for you all.
Yeah. Another thing I want to say, and I've noticed, all people of color are not the same. There's some Hispanics a lot of Hispanics actually that I've noticed that are saying that we should stop protesting and we should stop rioting because it's not peaceful or all these businesses are getting burnt down or destroyed.
But as she said, it's never been peaceful.
There were aspects that were. And that's not just for Black people. There were if you looked at the American Revolution, there was somebody writing the Constitution while there was somebody out going, the British are coming. Like there's always a duality to it. So just like Huda and you all are saying, I wanted to go be with the protest, but I'm at home doing my work. Like I'm helping in my own way. So for everyone that says, I don't want, that's hard. No, there's some of us that are. There are some of us that are not in the streets. Trust and believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had heard one guy say to me, he's like, why are you still protesting? Oh, sorry, what you talking?
What'd you say, Takari?
So I was just saying that when people say that riots are too violent, I feel like people are forgetting the fact that America was basically founded on violence.
Exactly.
They used violence to get rid of they basically used violence to get rid of the Native Americans. They used slaves. So to say that we shouldn't be violent and we should be peaceful, I think they're forgetting the history of America itself. It was never peaceful.
Yeah, everything. I don't think anything in America has come from being peaceful. But another thing I saw, I was watching a video today on Instagram. It was so when we're rioting for Black Lives Matter, it was the news titles were like these thugs are breaking all of these houses. I mean these businesses and these all this stuff, but when these football teams were losing and winning, these people were out flipping cars, starting fires in the streets, but there was no officers, no type of anything to stop them. For them, when their football team was losing.
Ooh, yeah.
You see the difference there? We're fighting for our lives, and they're mad because their favorite football team lost. But the news title for them was young people doing stupid things because they're football team, and they're just young people doing stupid stuff. But we're thugs rioting and burning down buildings.
But again, you understand rhetoric. So when I'm trying to teach you guys something, even though we're reading something boring in class, you understand how valuable understanding how to decode, decipher, and decide is. So here's what I'm gonna do, y'all. We're over our mark just a little bit. If you guys would like, we will do Teen Talk Tuesdays again next Tuesday. Would that be something y'all want to do?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah.
And I urge you guys, like, you have beautiful minds, beautiful voices. You can invite your friends. We can discuss some things if you want. And I'm always open to talk to you about it. But I would still urge you, those beautiful podcasts we were doing before we were all sent home with the coronavirus, keep doing those. Mm-hmm. Put your voice out there. This is my mom calling. Do your podcasts. Let people hear what you think and what you have to say. The more you get comfortable with it, the easier it becomes. Breathe. Mm-hmm. But I can understand how frustrating this is. But we need you. Oh my gosh. You got a purpose here, right? And we need you to do your work.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna get ready to close this out. I don't know. I think that there's about to be a poetry reading here in my little spot. See, I thought this was funky. I thought we were going to come here and do some things, and but whatever. It is what it is. I'm going to let you guys say any last things you want to say. And then I'm going to read this from Twos. Two says, as a brown male, I'd just like to say that though you weren't directly affected, or I guess he wasn't directly affected or she wasn't, I want to say I love you and you for being Black, and be proud, be brave, be strong, and be better, or you're better than the rest. So thank you, Twos, for that. Next Tuesday, we will be here for Teen Talk Tuesdays. If you want to continue to talk about the same topic, I'm here for it. Okay. Y'all say any last things you want to say?
I got some. In my opinion, I feel like when people say that we already have rights like every other American, like something like that from like a perspective of a white person to minorities, that is a facade, because I feel like racism or institutionalized discrimination has just become more slick and more discreet than before. So if you look at it, back in the 60s and the 50s, you had Jim Crow laws, and you had all these laws that were openly discriminating minorities. But after the civil rights movement, when political figures started acting like, we're all for you and all that, that wasn't true, because behind the scenes, you have Bill Clinton, for example, passing laws. What was it again? It had something to do with the criminal justice system.
Yeah, it was the 3 strikes you're out.
That targets and filters out minorities, because especially minorities that live in poor communities, that it criminalizes them and then puts them in jail for long amounts of time, compared to white people who do the same crime don't get as much time, if that makes any sense. So that's one aspect of it, of the institutionalized discrimination still happening. Minorities still get longer time for the same crime compared to white people. And I think, was it Bush? I think it was Bush. I watched this on Friday, not Friday the 13th. I meant 13th.
Oh, 13. The documentary. Absolutely.
Yeah. And they said that Bush used a Black criminal to prove his point against a political figure.
Yeah, you're talking about Papa Bush or Daddy Bush, the first Bush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He tried to use a Black criminal to make a point that Massachusetts had a criminal problem, and that the criminal justice system needs to be enforced even more. So what would that mean? It would mean more minorities will go to jail, and more minorities will go to jail, and after that, companies would even profit from minorities going to jail. It was a company called ALEC and the CCA. They profit off of that by putting minorities in jail, by building jails, maintaining jails, all of that. So it's basically just making money, making profit out of literally criminalizing and jailing minorities. So racism, it still exists. Like, the discrimination still exists.
Yeah. There is so much, y'all. So much. And there's so much we could read and talk about in relationship to what you guys are saying. I may just mess around and do some Teen Talk Tuesday podcasts. I like that idea. Do y'all like that idea? I really like this.
Yeah.
But it's about to get loud here in the studio that I'm at, and I don't want that to drown out this beautiful share that we've been having. You guys know you can contact me at any time if you get overwhelmed. Like I said, take yourself off. It's okay. Sometimes you have to do a fast of social media, because again, watching those videos over and over like that can be traumatizing. I'm gonna let you guys.
But I want to say
Yeah.
one more thing.
Uh-huh.
One more thing.
Yeah.
I do appreciate all of the white people and the other minorities protesting with us and being allies. I remember seeing I was seeing this one tweet. This guy, he said George Floyd and I were both arrested for allegedly spending a counterfeit $20 bill. For George Floyd, a man my age with 2 kids, it was a death sentence. For me, it is a story I sometimes tell at parties. That is white privilege. So people that are aware of it, I think the people that are aware of it, they're great people, you know, so they know how to use their privilege for the right cause, rather than somebody using their privilege to skip in front of a line or anything like that.
Yeah. I thank you guys for being so open, for talking, for sharing. I felt like I asked, I said, if you guys want to, and you were like, yes. So, you know, invite your friends next time, and then we'll do it again. We'll do Teen Talk Tuesdays next week too. Sounds good to you?
Yes.
Okay. Stay off social media so much, and take a deep breath. It's going to be good. I miss hearing you guys so much. Today gave me so much life. It did. I love you guys, and I'll talk to y'all next week, okay?
Okay.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.